Welcome to the Raya Pro Suite, the 8 panels that have everything for your Photoshop workflow. These panels will help with all types of photography: cityscapes, landscapes, astrophotography, interiors, portraits. There's something for everyone and every step of your workflow. We have exposure blending tools for everyone, from absolute beginners to the most advanced exposure blenders. We also have filters, sharpeners, detail enhancers, frequency separation. This is the most encompassing Photoshop suite out there. I originally developed Raya Pro to help people with exposure blending so that we didn't have to put up with the surreal, oversaturated effects that we sometimes see in HDR software. We could now create clean, natural exposure blended images. And Raya Pro 3.0 has 3 different panels for exposure blending. The first panel is for absolute beginners. We have something called Instant Auto Blending, which will do the blending for you if you don't know where to start. And each panel in the suite has a tutorial button at the bottom, so if you click on that, it will take you to a video tutorial showing you how to use that panel. Now, if you want to progress from beginner exposure blender to intermediate, then we'd move on to precision masks. And this is where we can cycle through masks on our images in real time to see how those masks affect the image. And when we're ready to move on to something more advanced, we have InstaMask, the most advanced mask generator in the world. Not only do we have 16 luminosity masks that are all 16-bit enabled, we also, in the RGB masks channel, can create 16-bit masks around each individual color channel too. So that gives us a total of 64 16-bit luminosity masks, so we can come out with the cleanest possible blend. But it doesn't end there. We can also make selections by simply pointing and clicking on our image, and we can select any area based on its brightness or its color. And of course, we can also create edge masks, saturation masks, and color masks. And we then have these sliders here which allow us to adjust any mask that we create. And we can also add or subtract any masks from any other mask that we create. The possibilities are limitless. But InstaMask can do so much more, so I encourage you to watch a few videos on this page to give you a good idea of how powerful this panel really is. And when you combine the functions in InstaMask with the incredible techniques taught in my Exposure Blend Like an Expert course, you can blend literally any exposures as cleanly as possible. Now, outside of exposure blending, we also have a color center panel, which gives us 4 options to correct any color cast in our image. We can add extra cold tones, we can add extra warmth, we can add specific cold tones to the shadows or highlights, or we can add warm tones to the shadows and highlights. We can desaturate or saturate all of our colors, and then we can do the same but with individual colors. With the Dodge and Burn panel, we have an incredible amount of fantastic functions which allow us to non-destructively select particular tones, so highlights, midtones or shadows, and dodge and burn those areas. But we can also dodge and burn with color, which adds beautiful vibrancy to our photos. And within the Dodge and Burn panel, we also have detail enhancers, specific contrast adjustments, we have a fake HDR effect, and we have 4 Orton effects to add that beautiful magical feel you often see in landscapes. And moving over to our filters and finish panel, we have 8 filters that will allow you with one single click to add some really impactful adjustments. We can also reduce noise, clean chromatic aberration, create strong or subtle vignettes, and we have 2 sharpening functions. Not to mention frequency separation for both 8-bit and 16-bit. And we can prepare our images for the web with these fantastic sharpening tools, which will also convert your images to the correct color profile for viewing on the internet. And that's just a very quick summary of what we have available to us in the Raya Pro suite. By using these panels, you can exposure blend beautifully and speed up every single step of your workflow, coming out with a beautiful final image.